So, how is all of that relatable for you or usable for you? It is likely that you will not be able to see into the divine plane, even by hearing this information. For a number of reasons. What I want to tell you is you don't need to see into it. So it's a misunderstanding in a way that up there is God, up there is the highest, and we have to kind of climb up to reach into it, and then we are there. There's truth to that from another perspective, but from the perspective how the personal self would make that, it's not like that. Like, you don't have to reach there. You don't have to even get there. You don't need to be good in a way that you reach heaven at the end. There's truth to that as well, but it's just not in the way the personal I relates to reality through doing. And that has nothing to do with doing. And you know what? The divine plane doesn't even have to do with being. It's beyond being. It's not being. It's non-existence. It's not within reality. It's what it all comes from. So it's not that you need to do certain things to get there, because you don't need to get there. And you don't just not only not need to get there, but you also don't need to see it. There's one tiny little thing that's enough. And that is that you know. So if you know by way of resonance that there is truth to the stuff that I'm sharing here, you know by resonance, by finest knowing, yes, God is. The divine plane is. Not in a way that we would define is, because it's not in an existent way. It's in a non-existent way. And so if you go even finer than knowing that God is, you know that nothing is. It's like nothing ever happened. It's the annihilation of everything. And deep down, you know, if you know just that it's true. No more than that. And that's enough. Don't relate to it as something you need to pray to. Don't relate to it as something you need to get to. Don't relate to it as something you need to achieve. Relate to it as the tiniest little bit of direct resonance that you do have within. Do you know what I'm speaking of? Can you make that out, even though it's not in your mind? Even so you may not even feel it? Maybe you're feeling something about it, but that feeling can also be again the reflection. That feeling will again be a reflection of that direct knowing. But do you know? If that is so, then relate to that. Relate to that direct knowledge. It's like one tiny dot, but that's enough. And then put everything else in perspective of that tiny, tiny, tiny one point that isn't even grabbable for you. But you know the resonance of the divine. It's so quiet. So quiet. But you know it's there. And as you know it's there, put everything else into perspective of that. Your whole life, all of reality, all of what you can perceive of reality, everything you ever learned, everything, what everything is, you know, your whole experience of your whole life, everything. Put that in perspective of that one point, that tiny, 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 invisible nothing, like nothing point. And if you do that, it will change everything. It will change your whole life. It will change all of reality, all of what you can see as real. The purpose of it, the destination of it, the reason for it, the why you're here, what you are here for, everything will be changed by that one point, because you know that point. There's no getting away of it. There's a getting away from it, but only at the cost of what is most precious in you, a jewel. You can get away from it, but you'll miss out on the jewel then, because nothing compares to that. I mean, nothing compares to God. How could it? Nothing compares to God. So with that information that I'm driven to share now in this with in this series of audios in particular, um, you don't need to study this information in that sense, you know. You don't need to. You will not get out of it and then, oh, now I know what the divine plane is. You know, if that happens in teachings that exist, it's actually a distraction because it doesn't show you what it is. It shows you only a model of it, and the model is not the reality. But what you can come out of this very audios is something that moves you so deep inside that a fundamental change in your life is inevitable. It's in your hands. This is information isn't something outside of you that it's not in my hands, it's in your hands. It's in your hands. It's given into your hands. That's what's happening here. It's given to you. And to take it, to really receive it, means to be it. And the easiest way to be it is let yourself become so small, so super small at the face of the greatness of God. Become that small, just like that tiny little knowing that you have. You become that small. And the rest around you, existence, life, reality, your experiences, your feelings, the history of mankind, the planet Earth, the universe, everything, let that just circle around that point. Because that point where you know that is what is really you. It's truly